After 30 years in the United Kingdom, a migrant who came to the UK 30 years ago is fighting to stay in the country. This is where you hear the latest immigration and migration diaspora news. Frank is my name for those seeing my face for the first time. Let me know what you think about this brother. Should he be allowed to stay in the country or should he be sent back to his home country? The gentleman, it has been reported that he first arrived on the shores of the United Kingdom in 1998. He came through the lorries, through the back door. The guy, before he eventually entered the UK, he has traveled through the shores of Europe and ended up in the UK. When he first entered the UK, he was living in the shadows. When he first arrived in the UK, he wasn't known to the authority. In 2010, that is when he first had some encounter with the UK government. He applied for leave to remain in the country in 2012. He said, I have lived in the UK. I want to regularize my paper. I've applied for leave to remain. The leave to remain that he applied for, meanwhile, there was some discrepancy. He applied for leave to remain, saying that he has been in that country at that time. If you live in the UK for over 10 years, you will be able to get a stay. When he applied, there was some discrepancy in the guy's dates that he entered the UK. He said when he was later arrested, he told the UK government that, look, he was arrested in 2010, and when he was arrested, the guy then absconded. They told him, they said, look, you have been arrested. You need to be coming to sign in. The guy absconded. They didn't see him again. In 2013, the guy reappeared from nowhere and applied this time around for stay. He said he should be allowed to stay in the country on human rights grounds. The Home Office refused his application, later refused his application. They said, no, you cannot claim human rights grant when we do not actually know the exact date that you came into the country. You are somebody of questionable character. There are doubts about what you're actually telling us. What day did you enter the country? When he was refused his application, the guy in 2000, he went on the ground between 2013 to 2017. Nobody heard of this guy. In 2017, the guy then claimed asylum in the UK and said, look, before I came to the UK, I was a member of a political party, and that party is facing persecution in my home country. Now that you guys have said to me that you've refused my application, I cannot return back to my home country, because if I return, my life will be in danger. And meanwhile, I now have a family in the UK, so I should be allowed to remain in the country. In 2019, his application was refused. The guy then came back again and said, look, I have lived in the country long enough. You should allow me to stay in the country. Again, the Home Office refused this guy's application. Then this guy, in April last year, he then appeared with new claim with his wife, and he brought people that he said are member of the same political party in their home country. Those guys, some of them have been granted refugee in the UK, and he was now saying, grant me refugee because these guys, they can confirm that my life will be at risk in my home country. The Home Office again then said to this gentleman, look, we cannot grant you refugee in the UK because we have doubts about what you are telling us. We do not believe anything you're telling us because you are somebody who has lied to us before. Now, when the case then went to court, He went to first tier 1 tribunal, and the immigration tribunal court, they had evidence from his wife. People that have known this guy say, look, do not send this guy to your home country. However, the claim was dismissed. However, he then claimed that the mistakes have been made, that the court made a mistake with the ruling. The upper judge in this case then said, while the first tribunal was correct in stating that this guy's case did not concern dishonesty, the Court of Appeal made clear in the judgment that the rule is not restricted to such case. There is no dispute in the evidence that the guy has presented, and on the basis of that, the judge then said, while I acknowledge the submission of the first tier tribunal gave some reason for rejecting the evidence that he presented and his uncle, the overreaching tenor reason is that the evidence was vague, superficial, and lacked any details. Now, the judge is now saying to this man that, look, all the evidence that you have presented, there are inconsistencies in the date that you actually arrived in this country, and you are somebody you're not claiming that you've lived in the country for 30 years. You should be granted leave to remain or indefinite leave to remain because you now have a family in the UK. But when you were arrested, you absconded. We didn't hear from you in 3 years. That we do not trust you. You have to return back to your home country. And this guy is now saying to the authority that, look, I have a family in the UK. My children are here, and I've built a life for myself. Let me stay in the country. I have broken the law by absconding, but I am not somebody who has any criminal record. Why do you want to send me back to my home country where my life will be at risk? So after 30 years in the United Kingdom, this gentleman is now fighting to stay in the country, and he has been told by the Home Office that he will have to go back to his own country regardless of what the guy says. Now, this guy, his case is quite a case that we hear a lot, that the Home Office is saying that a lot of people use different roles like the right to family life, human rights law, to try to delay and frustrate deportation so that they cannot be sent back to their home country. Do you think that this guy should be allowed to stay in the country, having lived in the country for about 30 years? He hasn't committed any crime. However, he is somebody that the Home Office said they do not trust because he absconded when he was granted bail and he came in through the back door. Let me know what your views are in the comment section about this guy's case. As I speak to you today, he's now fighting for deportation after 30 years of living in the United Kingdom. Should he be allowed to stay or should he be sent home? Let me know what your views are. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel and follow us on